want to get into obviously the biggest headlines. There's the Shedeur, there's
Yeah.
everything. They had the showcase over the weekend. It was all over Twitter. Jets safety Andre Sisco said that Shedeur Sanders was patting the ball before throwing during drills, which sparks this whole debate that I don't know how much I should care about. How much does it matter?
Well, it depends. I mean, it not in a big way. To me, it's a combination of if you're a patter of the football and you have a slower delivery and you lack arm strength, then you have a problem. But you can go back and watch John Elway, who he will pat the ball, but his delivery was so quick and his arm was so dynamic. It doesn't matter. I mean, that's been kind of the history throughout. So he does not have a huge arm, but it's enough. Like he has enough of an arm. Cam Ward has a stronger arm than he does. But Shedeur has enough of an arm there, and that's something that really is pretty easily coachable. If that is an issue for someone, if they feel like it's an issue, it's an easy fix.
Thanks for clearing that up. I need like a direct line to you to get these questions answered. I saw also the Titans, they canceled, they mutually decided and agreed to not have a private workout. I cannot imagine why that would be a good idea for the Titans. What's going on? What do I need to know?
I just think they're locked in. I think once they kind of zeroed in on Cam Ward, and then I think they're out of the generosity of just saying, hey, we're done. We're down this road. We've already seen Cam. We visited with Cam. We're at the pro day. We went to your pro day out of respect for the career that you've had, also to see Travis. But at this point in time, we've done all of our homework. We're locked in on our decision. So let's not waste any of your time as you try and prepare. I mean, I think what some people don't realize is on some of these visits, like teams will give, I know one team gave a quarterback in this year's draft like a 60-page playbook, and he had 5 days to show up on his visit and show a command and an understanding of those 60 pages. Now, imagine the relief. You want to get drafted and you want to give everybody an opportunity, but just having one of those teams removed off of your list as you're trying to study up and get prepared for all these visits, I'm sure they were more than okay with it, knowing that they weren't going to be there anyways.
I don't like it for a Titan. I don't like it as a Titans, like just the PR of it. You should be taking every opportunity to size up these guys, no matter what it takes until the draft. Like, even if, I don't know, there's something about like, if Shedeur turns out to be better than Cam in the long run, it's going to be a bad look or something that the Titans didn't have that private workout. Is there anything to that? Like, why does my mind go there?
Well, last year, because you're thinking of last year, and the Bears locked in on Caleb so early and kind of shut that process down. Obviously, Jaden goes on to have this unbelievable run all the way to the NFC Championship game. So I think that's probably in the back of your mind and the back of others' minds. I just think in this scenario, I think I see it as a little bit of a gap there. I think the league sees it as a pretty good gap where, he's not really in that mix. He's not really in that conversation with Cam at this point in time. So that's why they did it. I just thought they missed the opportunity to use the phrase conscious uncoupling in the press release, but neither here nor there.
It's very well said. Conscious uncoupling. Shout out Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin there as the pop culture references rage on.
That was a one-off. Never to be used again, by the way. Just a one-off.
I've consciously uncoupled with several people since that was popular. I don't know what you're talking about, DJ. If the Browns and Giants do in fact pass on Shedeur, where dost thou land?
It gets interesting. I mean, I don't feel like the Raiders would be in the mix there. It just feels like with Geno and then with Pete at his age, and there's an urgency to kind of get this thing going right now and draft somebody at 6 that can help him. Versus taking your long-term quarterback. So I don't feel good about that. I do feel like Justin Fields is going to get some runway there with the Jets. So you take them out of the mix. Really, the next team is 9 is the Saints. And that's where the real conversation starts, because if he gets beyond 9K, now you start looking at it. You're hoping, if you're Shedeur, you're hoping that it's the Rams maybe that end that slide, or at that point in time, on the broadcast, we're going to start talking about, are those teams, the Giants, the Browns, if they've passed on quarterbacks, are they coming back in? So that's where it gets pretty interesting. 9 is, to me, a very pivotal moment.
That would be wild to see. How often do you hear from Dion?
I saw him at the Big 12 Pro Day, but I have not been in contact with him in quite some time. He's got his hands full up there in Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, I wish them all the luck.